Hi, Joe Policastro here from Cycle CPA. We do the bookkeeping and fractional CFO services for more than 100 landscape companies throughout the country. And today I'm going to go over the two main mindsets that a landscape business owner has to battle with on a day-to-day basis, and that's managing and cutting expenses versus, driving and increasing sales and revenue. And this is a very important topic. And one of the main things to understand is that when it comes to sales and driving revenue, there isn't much of a ceiling there. There's a lot of opportunity, within your market to really expand there, right? Whereas when it comes to managing and cutting expenses, you're not going to find as much opportunity there. Why? Because there's always going to be that amount that you're going to have to spend on the certain, whether it's operational or overhead costs. And, whether you're, a company that doesn't manage your expenses well or a company that does, manage it well, they are going to have the certain competitive advantage. They're going to be able to price their jobs lower because they're not going to have to recoup as many expenses in their estimates. However, I think it's also important to understand that there is a line and there is a limit to cutting expenses, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're cutting so many overhead expenses that you're putting an unnecessary strain and stress on your employees. So instead of spending those funds to purchase that software, right, and to actually become more of an investment for your company and help drive more revenue, you're not going to make that move because you're trying to cut expenses, but then your employees are going to have to now work harder in a process that's not as streamlined. So it's important to always keep both points in mind, right, when it comes to driving sales and cutting and managing expenses. And also understand that as a business owner, your time has a worth to it, and as your company gets larger, your time is worth more. So it may come to a point where it's not worth for you to overanalyze and get too caught up in some of the expenses when there are other opportunities to improve profits and drive revenue. Maybe, an example of that could be spending time to train an employee, right? So just thinking about those couple of hours, where instead of cutting an expense, you can train your employee, you can invest time in them, and that investment will, potentially give you, a lot more, improvements in the field, productivity, and help drive sales. And each point is extremely important, but I think the point here that I'd like to make is that there is a balance. There is a limit to the amount of expenses that can be cut in your landscape company, and sometimes it is better to think big. Even if you don't want to be a gigantic company, understand that if you want to operate at a profit, try increasing sales. And I'm not saying not to be efficient, but there are opportunities and things open up, if you get more business in. And I hope that this perspective helps, because I really want you guys to get the profits that, and reach your goals. So, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but I hope you have a great day.